I've set the alarm, which is a little black plastic clock with numbers that kind of glow in the dark. A small AA battery, which when it dies, I will put in a little jar in the cupboard in the pantry room, and eventually, in this lifetime, take the jar to the special area of the dump that somehow has a way of handling poisonous material so that it doesn't seep into, although there does seem to be some mercury in my hair sample. I've set the alarm for 6:37. I've timed. How long will it take to get up, take a shower, wash my face, put on lotion, put on essential oils in special places like thighs for cellulite, throat for thyroid, wrists for blood circulation, put on the lotion after spraying the rose water on my face while I look at the mirror that's slightly spattered with toothpaste, and figure out what to wear, to go. I've decided to go, to walk. I am walking, but I'm sleeping now, trying to sleep. Before the rose water, the face, the shower, the figuring out, the hiking, the obligatory lack of meditating. I'm going to the Raphael Theater in downtown San Rafael, kind of art deco, shiny. Everything seems sort of polished and tiled and mosaicked and kind of that, it's kind of that era where everyone goes sideways. To watch the inaugural address of the 44th President of the United Finally States of America. So set the alarm. I'm thinking if we leave the house at 7:30, we can get there by 10 to 8, and there won't be anyone there because it's so early. Most people, unlike me, will stay at home in their jammies and their little soft, furry slippers, propped up in front of their widescreen digital HD TV with really high 10,080 DPI 740 coming through the cable. With a little cup of homemade cappuccino. With their loved ones around them and their pets jumping up and down in glee. They'll just stay home. Yeah. But not me. I'm going to walk, not drive, not drive, not drive. I am going to walk down C Street, which kind of has a little jag in it, past that house of that woman who lives alone like I do, which has like parallel lines in the door and parallel lines in the gate, and wisteria hanging now just dead sticks over the front door. Across 2nd Street, which is kind of dingy right there, because it's San Rafael, which is not kind of all expensive and Armani'd. Slightly multicultural in an all-white way. I'm going to buy my caffeine when I get there because they've promised that in the email blast. Caffeine available in the lobby. The clock is set and it's ticking. Tick, 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 tick. Your life is almost tick, 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 coming to a tick, tick. You're 60, tick, tick, and tick, tick, tick. Time is tick, 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 going by, 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 by. Tick, you're going to die, die, tick, 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 tick. can't sleep. The cat is sleeping at the foot of the bed. I wake up and I grab her. She's white and not white. No, she doesn't come in white. They come in kind of seal point, sort of gray. She's Himalayan and Siamese, and there's a lot of fur this time of year, and I grab her and she goes, meow. And I say to her, I feed you, comfort me. Shove her under the blankets, and I pull the blanket over her, and I pet the back of her neck, and she's all wagging her tail back and forth. I do not want to be here. I do not want to be here. Let me go. Let me go. As you rub the back of the neck where the mother used to pick them up when they were babies, they'll calm down and start to purr. She flees the moment I stop petting her, and returns to the foot of the bed, leaving me alone. And I start thinking, in that middle of the night with the curtains closed because someone's been caught, not caught, someone's been in the neighborhood breaking into single women's houses through back doors, and then escaping before anything too awful has happened. So I've shut the curtains, thinking that might help. At least he can't watch me from the outside with a little flashlight, watch me sleep. I wake up and I think about, not in a thinking way, but in a feeling thinking, sort of middle of the night with the light from the street seeping through the edges of the curtains, in that feeling thinking kind of out of control way, about how he's going to get up in the morning and in a very well-dressed way, stride with that slight uplift to his chin. Probably just before he becomes visible to 1 billion people. Take a very quiet breath. And then I fall back asleep. And then I wake up and I think he's lying in bed. And he's going to wake up and slip his slippers on and take a shower. I wonder if he's sleeping. He's not sleeping. I am him. I can feel my cells kind of turning into the president-elect instead of the czar. I am him being nervous. I'm being nervous because I am him about to slip into the take the shower, get dressed, go out, take a quiet before 1 million, billion, and everything is such a fucking mess! I can't sleep. I fall asleep. I wake up. In just a couple of hours, I'm thinking, feeling, the president, the cellular, the I'm going to, he's going to, we're going to. That's the we whole point of this campaign, the we and then I'm, and then it's gotten all mushed together into me becoming that, having to give billions of nervous. And see, I hope he's, I just love him. I just sleep. It's just they wanted to study goodness and the arising of good and that feeling that happens, the warming of the chest, the turning into a lump in the throat and the rising into tears in the eyes. And so they read people poetry hoping that might instigate that feeling of warmth, but it didn't. And so they danced in front of each other, and that kind of didn't work either. And suddenly a graduate student raced to the door and he said, I know, show them all Obama's acceptance speech at the Democratic Convention, and that should do it. So sure enough, they packed the room full of students and played them the Obama acceptance speech at the convention, and women who were lactating suddenly started to leak from the breasts. And that feeling of
warming, rising, spreading, lumping, tearing, began to happen, and people had electrodes on them so they could measure it. And sure enough, they decided and realized and understood in a scientific way, not that we all didn't know it anyway, but they understood it. We were not, it's some good thing to neuro happen, and that when people use words like, instead of strive, we are going to move towards harmony. Instead of war, we are going to move towards peace. Instead of hatred, we are going to love. Then suddenly you shift. There's a cognitive shift, kind of moral, kind of physiology. And so the chemistry changes in the body, and a sense of happiness rises. And you want to do good. You want to do good. When you say we instead of I, there seems to be a shift actually in the cognitive processes of the neurological formatting of the entire structure of the brain, and the signals start to shift their relationship to one another, and that feeling of yes, we can rises, and that's what we were all wanting, and you get very, very high. And then you stand next to the people who you're sitting next to, and they hold your hand. And because they're holding your hand, you reach out for the hand of the person sitting on the other side of you. And you look around the theater, and everyone is standing and holding hands and thinking, yes, instead of war, peace. Instead of strife, harmony. Instead of them, we. Instead of I, we. Instead of alone, us. Instead of isolation, connection. Instead of hate, love. And you're crying. They say the trouble with that sense of elevation is that you feel it for a while, except you don't necessarily do anything. I walk around my house, kind of that elevation is still moving through my cellular situation, but I'm not sure what to do. It's still morning. I don't particularly feel like looking at my email or paying my bills. It all seems a bit, what am I doing with my life at the moment? Now that things have, if there's something important probably to be, what in the world should I, it's morning, feed the cat. I pull out the vacuum and vacuum the rug. The vacuum pulls up the cat hair. Taupe, pale, white even, a blend of furry white sticking to the carpet. I'm not sure what to do with my life. The vacuum works. I make another cup of tea. So I'm drinking the tea, half and half, and a little bit of honey. I'm wondering how many terawatts of energy I'm consuming just at that moment. Because the tea has actually traveled a very long way. The tea has gone from China, probably on a boat or a plane, and released enormous amounts of carbon dioxide into the air. And the cup probably has also moved through a similar trajectory. And the half and half might be slightly more local. And it's a little cardboard box with wax on it. I wonder how they produce that wax. And it's probably gone on a truck, which has been spewing carbon dioxide into the air and creating this strange situation, which I've heard 1,000,000 times, but never remember how it actually pieces together.
The CO2 and the ozone in the Arctic is melting. I lunch with Dan Miller yesterday. I'd gone to talk about me, but ended up talking about him. Because generally, if you want something from someone, they say, let them talk about themselves a lot. He took me to lunch. He said we could drive to Piconti. I said, no, walk! Not like that, though. No. I said, I was trying to appear fund-worthy. I would prefer to. I've been thinking a lot about. Well, just can we? I'm trying not to leave. It's a carbon footprint. We walked in the rain without an umbrella, letting that blessed water from the sky pour down upon us. That very much needed, because the reservoirs are all dry. He's an expert, it turns out. I just thought he had a lot of money. He's an expert on global climate change. He feels, he said, as I was eating my noodles with cilantro and some kind of sweet vinegar and dripping them on my chin and trying to, in a fund-worthy way, kind of rub them off that lipstick smeared across my face. And I'd taken my sweater off and it had slumped onto the floor. And my shawl, which was very terribly, dapper in some artistic and stylish way, had now also slipped off the back of the chair and the floor. The waiter was tripping on it. I bent over and tried to slide it under the thing, but as I bent over, I could feel the necklace kind of getting caught in the breast tissue, and then the drip of the vinegar. I said, people are not sufficiently frightened. I said, oh yes, I agree. Fear is definitely the best tactic. So the ice caps, it's not that they are going to melt sometime in the future. Now, it's already 50%. There are 50%. And I said, polar bears. And he said, over. Already. He said, this kind of helped in a strange, I can do something way. He said, creating, feeding, making, verb like that. 1 pound of beef requires 20 pounds of grain. So if you think about an entire planet where there's not much food, do you want to eat the grain or do you want to take 20 pounds of the grain and feed the cow? He said, oh, how did it go? I've forgotten. I wanted to remember so badly, and that the statistics come in one year and go out the other. He said something like, all of the eating, the amount of the cows, the amount of beef that we make, it creates as much carbon dioxide as all of the cars in the entire world. And then he said that, how did it go? That eating 1 pound of beef is the same, equivalent is the word he used in a more perfect way. Eating 1 pound of beef is the equivalent of driving your car for an hour and a half while leaving all of the lights on at home. 1 pound. I was eating rice vinegar with rice noodles and cilantro and getting sufficiently terrified. I went around the house last night, turning off all the power strips, because the appliances and the television and the computer and the router and the electric telephone and the stereo system and the blender and the coffee maker and the toaster oven and the microwave are all consuming energy, even when they're turned off. You have to unplug them. You have to take them from there. We have to take ourselves. We have to unplug. We have to take our own power strips and turn it off. I've planted kale and broccoli and cauliflower and leeks and lettuce and chard and 2 kinds of peas in the garden around bamboo trellises. I'm going to get a chicken or 2 so it won't be lonely. Maybe a goat. You can just go outside on your hands and knees and put your mouth to the tit. Suckle, goat milk, goat milk, goat milk. Goodness, elevation, doing something. I can't do it alone. We have to do it together. How do we all get together to do this? It's really scary. I am sufficiently frightened. I am terrified. I lie in bed at night. I think at least he said it during the inaugural address. He said global warming exists, and it has been created by man. That was such a big step, but not big enough. I'm lying in bed. I have the buckwheat hull pillow behind my neck. I dragged the cat from the foot of the bed, put her on my lap, and made her lie down by pushing her knees forward, which makes her collapse on my belly. And I rub the back of her neck, and she purrs. They say, walk. They say, plant food. They say, turn off your electricity at night. They say, drive a fuel-efficient car just a little bit. They say, eat vegetables. They say, grab a friend. They say, it's worse than you think. They say, there's not much time left. They say, we can do it together. They say, none of us are alone. They say, this is the time. They say, you're going to end up, as you lie dying, looking in your children's eyes and saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. Is it too late? We have to hold each other's hands and feel the swell in the belly rise into the breast, turning into a lump in the throat and the pooling of tears, and grab another's hands and say, yes, we can. It's not over, we're just beginning.